All right, sports fans, it's time to spin the wheel of games. Trying to make it exciting. Is it? Will it? Have it? World of Goo. Okay. All right. We shall get to it. All right, everybody. You saw me choose the World of Goo. And so now I should play the World of Goo. But before I do, you need to know that puzzle games are not really my type of game to start with. So I always like to put that as a disclaimer. You know, one of my favorite video game writers ever. He always gives a disclaimer if he's like, I'm reviewing this, but this is not my type of game to start with, you know? So, yeah, understand me going into the World of Goo. It is not my type of game to start with, because I don't really play puzzlers like this. I don't. And I have watched both my wife and my children play this game and really love it. And so I will tell you up front, I recognize the quality inherent in this game, but it's not my favorite. And so you're not going to see me be like amazing at it, I don't think. And you're also not going to see me like knock myself out with like ecstatic glee over this particular game. But what I will say is that it is a quality game. So yeah, here's the thing. World of Goo comes to us from 2D Boy, a respected developer. The game itself has won like so many so many awards and whatnot, and it is the whole thing. Like, people know and love this game, and it's been around since the Wii. Like, that's where it really debuted, and where I actually know it from first is on the Wii. And so yeah, this is crazy Wii game that also showed up in the early days of iPhone gaming and iPad gaming, and then later Android gaming, because why not put it on everything that it can be put on at the time, which was 2008. Remember, the iPhone debuted in 2007, so we're talking early days of mobile gaming. You know, back when it wasn't a trap and a trick, and every little thing is less of a game and more of a like way to get you to buy their in-game currency, to buy skins and wallpaper packs or whatever the crap, like or the pay to win games and all of that nonsense. I hate what mobile gaming has become, because I have seen what mobile gaming has been. And so like I have a really hard time with it. Yeah, but you know, when the annals of mobile gaming history will be written, we will, of course, have to mention, like, the one that showed us exactly how bad it was getting, Dungeon Hunter 3. Because Dungeon Hunter 1 was like this, wow, how did they fit this onto my iPad? Fully featured Diablo, you know, Dungeon Siege-esque dungeon crawler, you know, RPG, like reasonably decent RPG on your iPad, you know. And then the second one was like a pretty good game, like comparable to PC games, you know, in terms of quality, in terms of overall, like what you expect in an RPG. Like very fully featured and good. You know, story not the most amazing thing you'll ever hear, but like, you know, there. So like, whatever. It was a really good game. And then I remember when Dungeon Siege, and I know this is all tangential, I apologize. World of Goo, will come back to it. But Dungeon Hunter 3, and all it was this single screen arena. You have this character that you go around, you just kill everything on the screen, and then you get, like, points for that, which turn into gems, which turn into, like, in-game purchases and whatnot. And then those in-game purchases, you can hardly buy anything. You have to, like, play a lot and often to purchase even the lowest level stuff. Or you could give them your actual money and, like, get all the cool stuff really easily. And it was so abysmally stupid. Because those of us who had played the first two games were like, yeah, those were proper games. And then you play the third one, and it's just the most obvious cash grab I've ever seen in gaming. And people wonder why, you know, those of us who came of age in a certain era of mobile gaming are like, no, thank you, to, like, what it has become. Yeah. Because, like, the kids come up to you, do you have games on your phone? No, not really. Not anymore. Not after what they did. Yeah, for real. That's for real for some of us. Anyway, so World of Goo was around in that era of mobile gaming that was where everything was good. The land was green. The crystal had not cracked yet, but it did. Another world, another time. One of you knows this reference, because I've done it before. Apparently my wife does. Another world, another time. The land was green and good, until the crystal cracked. Anyway, yeah. Random thing. I just like that there's someone in my community, and I think only one, who knows that. Anyway, let's quit dilling and dallying on the World of Goo, because we need to talk about it. So this game's been around since 2008. I have seen it plenty. I've seen plenty of people play it, and I've seen plenty of people enjoy it in that time. We have it on the Wii. I think maybe one or two of us have it on iOS. It exists in multiple ways in our family, and I've watched people play it. And so what I can tell you about this game, even beyond what little I played of it today, which is just the first, you know, few levels, getting a feel for just the basic components of the game and what makes it work, and, you know, how the puzzles will be presented to you and whatnot. You know, those are the first few levels that I played, but is not my first rodeo with this game, because I have watched my wife play all the way through it, I think a couple of times, because puzzlers are right up her alley. They're not right up mine. It's not a thing that I go looking for in a game. I'm the kind of gamer where when I get a puzzle, I'm like, ugh, can I just go to the guide and skip this part? You know, like, and this is gonna sound super lame of me, but in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, all the parts that are puzzles, which is a lot of the game. It's a lot. It's a whole bunch of the game. But anyway, I like to just look those up in the guides and skip my way through them, because I find them abysmally intolerable trying to get all the rings onto this pole or trying to figure out the secret number or whatever. Like, just look it up. That's me. My wife would be like, ooh, a puzzle? This is the best part. And I'm like, I'm not throwing my lightsaber at anybody's head. What's the point? You know, it just reveals the difference in our approach to gaming. Though the both of us spend quite a bit of time doing it. She's playing a game right now, right next to me. Starbound? Yeah, playing Starbound right next to me right now. Like, totally up her alley. For me, it's like Terraria in space. I don't know about this one. Anyway, but yeah, just a difference in our approach to gaming is the whole thing. So, in as much as there are different strokes for different folks, I can tell you, like, World of Goo, with all of its, like, puzzleness, which is not my favorite style of gameplay, it doesn't feel too puzzling, you know? Like, everything feels like, okay, there's a right answer. Like, there is a correct way to do this. There is an optimized way through, you know? And so, yeah, I like it when the challenge of a game is something that is presented to you as, you can do this. You know, my complaint with the, like, Dark Soulses and the Souls-likes and the uber hard, like, you're going to be rolling on the ground a lot and only ever occasionally getting a hit in on the mega ginormous boss. Like, all of those kind of games, like, it just feels too hard, you know? At that point, I'm like, yeah, I could probably do it if I got enough time to roll around on the ground. But, like, I would prefer to just hit him a bunch and learn a few combo patterns and, like, just zip zop do it, you know? That's me. That's my preference. But yeah, like, in terms of difficulty and presenting you a challenge that is enjoyable, you know, a challenge that feels, everything feels like, no, you'll get it. You'll get it eventually. Which is a good thing. You know, you've got the sign painter who presents information to you in a very, sort of, only giving you exactly what you need sort of a way. Like, not telling you how to do the level, but also not leaving you completely blind to what you need to do. So, yeah, I really like how balanced the game is, especially for people who don't normally play these kinds of games. I think that, you know, like, there are RTSs out there, for example, that are built in a way that they're built for people who don't really play RTSs, right? Because, like, there are the RTSs for people who play RTSs, your, you know, Supreme Commanders, your Total Annihilations, like those types. Anyway, and power to the people who love those for real. But, you know, they can get very bogged down in the minutia of playing those kinds of games, where most people who just might enjoy that kind of game a little bit, but it's not all they play, or it's, you know, might be their first one. You know, there are games that are more suited to, like, hey, we're going to kind of walk you through this a little bit and show you what to do and how to build units and how to deploy them and make it make sense. And it's those games that people who spend all their time playing RTSs are like, boo, no, you know. It's the same thing, like, it's the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest of the RPGs, you know, like where people who play the other Final Fantasy games, which I'm playing my way through the Final Fantasy franchise right now. I'm on 5. I'm like 2/3 of the way through 5. Started at 1, made my way through. I should do reviews of all these games. Sorry that I'm so scattershot on this review of World of Goo, because what I want to convey is that, like, there's a lot of things I'd rather be playing. Just think of all the types of games that I've mentioned, many of which I would rather be playing than World of Goo. Because World of Goo is not, like, just as a puzzler, just say puzzler, don't even mention that it's World of Goo. Would I rather play anything than a puzzler? The answer usually is yeah, pretty much. Like, pretty much anything rather than a puzzler. But sometimes the puzzles come in a way that's interesting and is approachable to someone who doesn't normally play this kind of thing. And so, you know, while the hardcore puzzler people may find their greater thrills in puzzling elsewhere, or might, you know, play all the way through this one, because I do know that there is a certain level of difficulty that you reach toward the end where you gotta, like, stack them things super high and then also not have them touch the wall at all. You know, and it gets to be a very delicate balancing act. Yeah, because I've watched my wife do it. And I can tell you that there is a lot of difficulty in this game, but the game helps you into the difficulty. I've watched it do that. I've seen my wife figure her way through these levels multiple times. And, you know, the second time around, there was still a challenge. So, like, there's a reason why this game is beloved. And certainly it is. And it's on all of the lists of, like, oh my god, if you want to play a puzzle type game, this is a game for you. Because you get bridge builder kind of a deal, but also, like, interesting physics challenges and stuff. And then just, it's its own kind of thing with the different types of goo and the different ways that they interact with the world around them and with each other and themselves, you know. And so over time it becomes a much more challenging thing, but it helps you into that challenge. So yeah, I recognize the quality of this game, even if I also recognize that I am not its ideal audience. And with all of that said, I'll just say I really liked it and I had fun with it, which is saying quite a bit for this kind of game. Anyway, let me put a final score on it and then we will be done. So for World of Goo, we are going to go as a final score an 8 out of a possible 10. Protagonists from Dungeon Hunter 2, in honor of there having been an era of mobile gaming where when you paid for the game, you owned the game and not the right to be perpetually advertised to by the game until the game decides not to update anymore, and then you can't have the game anymore. Like, what? What does it become? We put our hearts to our chest. We remember that there ever was a time when the land was green and good before the crystal cracked. And, you know, you could play a legit game on your mobile phone and it would be like a good game and not a heartless cash grab. So, anyway, yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, sorry that I ended on kind of a downer, because, like, being reminded that this is a mobile game from the best era of mobile gaming. Yeah, it hits me in a certain nostalgic spot to even talk about it, that I honestly didn't think I was that nostalgic for. But as I get thinking about it, I'm like, man, I poured hours of my life into that stuff and loved it and was glad for it, you know. Back, remember when, because I did those videos where the guy updated Jetpack Joyride, and I'm like, oh, please make this 100% of the game, or just give us Jetpack Joyride in a playable way that has no ads and no shameless cash grabs. Just let us have it, you know. Pay money for it, and just have the game that we wanted to play, because it's a fun game. Anyway, yeah, sorry that I reminisce, but I am missing that era of mobile gaming. Anyway, people, thanks for being here for this one. Sorry that I went on for so long, but I wax rhapsodic when I'm feeling touched by an era of gaming. I've been here for a lot of eras of gaming. You know, I remember when the NES came out, and then all of a sudden all my friends with Atari 2600s didn't have people coming over to their house as much anymore. You know, like, I remember this. And yeah, I've been there for a lot of it. And it's funny that I still also have nostalgia for games that I played on a device that I did not get until I already had children, you know, like from a different era of my life. I still have nostalgia for that era, and who knows, what am I going to be playing in the future that I will be looking back on this era and thinking, boy, those were the games that made that particular time special and fun. Something to think about. Hey, how about this? Comment down below. If you made it this far, my God, thank you. But if you made it this far, comment down below. What do you think are the games that we're going to be remembering fondly? The games and the platforms on which we played them. What are we going to be remembering fondly, 15 years from now, in terms of this era of gaming? Because that's how long it's been since World of Goo came out. It's been fully 15 years. What are we going to remember fondly? I don't know. It's a good question. Well, thanks for being here for this one, everybody. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.